What are the areas of life, the incidents that have been most challenging when it comes to applying this theory?
Yeah, I love that question. It's both. Again, I'm smiling because it's the same thing we've been talking about. It's the most challenging and the most rewarding. So the most challenging way to apply the let them theory is a way that will bring you closer to the people that you love. Because when you say, let's just take every single one of us, myself included, has somebody in your family who has a very challenging personality.
It's about to be Thanksgiving. That will be presented on the front lines.
Maybe they have a narcissistic personality style. And I think the big thing that I believe is that, it's inaccurate to call somebody who has a narcissistic personality style manipulative, because that presumes there's a level of conscious action there. And based on all the research and experts I've talked to, I do believe that people are made that way through childhood neglect, and they're not even aware of it. And so I think it's just a highly emotionally immature person who is highly reactive and is not aware, because their amygdala is running the entire show at all times. And when you start to use the let them theory with people in your life that have very challenging either personality styles or challenging behavior patterns, you really start to see what's theirs and what's yours. And you learn, okay, my mom or dad is my mom or dad. My brother's my brother. They've always been this way. What if I just let them be who they are? What if I learn how to accept this person, knowing that they're never going to change, because human beings only change when they're ready to do the work to change for themselves. They're not going to change for you. They're not going to change to save their jobs. They're not going to change for their children. They're going to change when they're ready to do the work to change. No amount of pressure is going to make them change. No amount of wishing is going to make them change. And so when you learn and start to say, let them be who they are. Let them think what they think. Let them act how they act.
What if who they are, what they think, and how they act is annoying or frustrating or insulting to you?
I'm sure it is. You have a choice. That's the let me part. Because the mistake that I made forever was thinking I could somehow change the annoying, frustrating, unmotivated, depressed, angry, addicted parts of other people. You can't. Because people only change when they're ready to do the work to change for themselves. So when you say let them, you're actually, for the first time ever, accepting somebody as they are, seeing somebody as they are. So we've been so busy judging people and thinking we know better and expecting things from people that we are getting the fundamentals wrong. Loving somebody means actually seeing and loving them as they are. It doesn't feel good when you're in a relationship with somebody, whether it's a parent-child relationship or it's a sibling relationship or a friend relationship or a marriage or dating, where you know the person's always nagging you because they know better. If anything, it makes you double down on who you are. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so when you say let them, you are forcing yourself to recognize who a person is and who they aren't. And you are choosing to accept them that way without the expectation or hope that they're going to change. And now something shifts, because when I actually recognize who I'm dealing with, I now get to choose what I think. And I choose to think when I'm dealing with somebody very challenging, I choose to think there is something that happened to them that they are unaware of. And instead of hoping that they figure this out or telling them what I think it is, I'm just going to let them be who they are, because I get to choose who I spend my time and energy with. I get to choose whether I look at people with compassion. I get to choose whether or not I have a family member that's spouting off conspiracy theories and ramming it down everybody's throat and blah, 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 blah. I mean, have I even asked them, well, what might make you believe that? What are you listening to? Have I taken a moment to try to cross over that line of division and say, let me seek to understand how somebody that I think I know might believe a bunch of things that make no sense to me. Because if you can't do that, then you're not acting very maturely either. You're sitting back and judging. And look, they may have just absolutely asinine or unfounded or discriminatory or disgusting points of view. But it takes a level of maturity if you want this person in your life. And again, you get to choose to say, dude, like, you didn't believe this stuff 2 years ago. What do you listen to? Why do you think those things? Why do you think that would work? We just want people to believe what we believe. We want our parents who grew up in a completely different generation, had a completely different level of support, had completely different reference points to somehow just absorb everything that we think is right. So we'll sit in judgment and think they're idiots for not thinking what we think, but we never stop and go like, oh, wait a minute. Why might you think that? What were the experiences in your childhood? If you start to really connect the dots, there are always dots that connect to why somebody has the settings and the minds or the beliefs that they have. But if you get so reactive and judgmental with people, you'll get dysregulated and not be able to just be curious. And so when you say let them, you are teaching yourself how to operate with acceptance and compassion. When you say let me, now comes personal responsibility. Let me stop expecting people to change. Let me see people and accept people as they are, and then let me ask myself, based on my values, what do I want to do here? One of the things that I find is that, it's really easy on social media to talk about cutting people out. Very easy to stop talking to people, but have you actually had the conversation? Most people haven't. And when you see that somebody's challenging, if you value family and it's a family member, you get to choose. Do you want to spend 2 days or 2 hours with this person? Is drinking involved? Are there topics you're going to raise? And most importantly, are you driving to the family time, bracing, because you're hoping things will be different? That bracing is part of the dynamic that is creating all of it. If you're like, let my uncle drink, let my dad do his thing, let my brother do his thing. I know these people, I'm related to them, but family matters to me. And it matters to me to show up because I really care about my mom. So I'm going to put up with everybody else's stuff, but I'm not going to expect it to be any different. I'm just not. And I know that I can leave a dinner table or a date or an interview or a job or a text chain anytime I choose. I'm in control. And when you're not bracing and you're in the let me zone and I'm going because I choose to, not because I have to, you are the most powerful person in the room because nobody rattles you. Because you're in a space of just allowing people the dignity of their own experience, even if they're frustrating, even if they're annoying, even if they're offensive, because you can leave. And the funny thing that you're going to notice is everything changes. This is really also helpful with dating because there's nothing confusing about dating. What's confusing about dating is that you tell yourself a story based on your expectations of what you wish were happening. People's behavior is very, very clear. We confuse ourselves. Like if you're with somebody who will not put a label on the relationship, it means they don't like you. They like sleeping with you. And so you have to let them not want to put a label on it. And that doesn't mean you're allowing yourself to being disrespected. It means you're recognizing that how somebody treats you is the truth about how they feel about you. And now you get to do the let me part. Let me ask myself, is this attractive to me? Let me ask myself, am I hoping this person's going to change? Am I willing to accept this behavior as it is because I'm now participating in it? Or do I want something different? And if I want something different, you don't get it by changing another person. You get something different by changing yourself. And that's true about family too. The more you learn to accept people as they are and as they aren't, the more you stop trying to change everybody else, the more you stop trying to control every family dynamic, and you just focus on what are my values and how am I going to show up and do I want to bring the fun? Am I being transactional, or am I just going because I want to go and this matters to me? Everything will shift. Everything. Because now you're focused on what you can control.